Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we'll be seeing how to plot origin of Powder XRD graphs when you have a multiple Powder XRD graphs. So in today's video, at the end of the video, we will see how to create such a graph so beautifully and so nicely so that it attracts a lot of people. So and also conveys what you wanted to do with and what you wanted to say in a much clear way. This is the model graph and we will start from the scratch. So we have opened a new book. This is a look where you get when you open a. So I'm deleting all this. This is only a plain book, or we can just start from scratch. As I said, I'm creating a new book, optimizing it, and then so in previous video I have seen importing of single ASCII, which means a single file which contains the information of Powder XRD. So now I'll be showing you how to import a multiple datas, which is called as multiple ASCIIs. So when I click this multiple ASCII, there is a different window popping up. If I click a single ASCII file, I go to import, then I go to single ASCII, it pops up a different window. Whereas you see there is a different window. But whereas when I go to file, import and multiple ASCII, I get a different window. So where I click the first one and then I just give add file. So it adds here. I click the second one, add file, third one, add file. So you can go to a different location of the files and then also add a multiple files here. And then when you click OK, there is a pop-up coming up which says what are the files you have. And these are the three files you have it. So we have A file, B and C. So you see like RT 15 and 10. This is how it looks. So these are the three files and it says like replace existing data. So when you wanted to plot multiple data, your data should be in the same sheet, not on a different sheet. For example, let's say I'm giving this replace existing data and click OK. I have imported three different files. So these three different files will come as a three different books. So which is not desired. See, we have got three different books. So now, but to plot a graph, I need all data in a single sheet. So for that, what we can do is you go to file, import, multiple ASCII, and then select all these three. If you press Control and select all these will be done. Add files, give OK. And in this pop-up window, you have to say that create in a new sheet or create in a new column. So if it is in a new sheet, the first sheet will be like this and second sheet will be the second data and third sheet will be the third data. If you give new column, the first few columns will have the first data and second few columns will have the second data. So now we will give new columns and check what is happening. Will it be convenient? So now all the three datas are reading and then one single has come up. You could see here previously there were multiple datas. Instead of that, only one single data has come up. On in this, all three files have come. So I'm deleting the first one. So the one marked here pink. Suppose when you look at it very clearly, this is the active file. So when I look clearly, this is the active file. So I'm going to delete this file, which is not required. Will create a lot of confusion in the next. So I'm going to delete this and these are the files. So and these are the extra files of my data, so which I do not want. First two columns this is 2 theta values and this is intensity. 2 theta values intensity, 2 theta values and intensity. So I'm going to delete this. Also I'm going to delete this. So I think like one of the data is repeated because you could see that 1591 15. So these are three datas. So you could see this is one data, this is second data, and this is third data, and this is repeated because we did it in the previous file. So I'm deleting this also. So these are the three different files. You could see 1599501 and 175522, 797303. So this is how it will look like when you give it in a new column. If you give it in a new sheet or replace existing sheet, all the data will come in a different sheets, which will be difficult for you to plot. So this is the first step which you have to take. If you don't do this, you have to copy from data from each table or each sheet and then put it in a new sheet, which will be a little tedious process, which will consume little of your time. So that to avoid this, this is a method. So now I'll delete this and again create the new file in a very clear way. Please observe it carefully. So I'm deleting. So this is the fresh page. I'm taking a new book, going to file, import, multiple ASCII. I'm going to select the data which I wanted first, and this is the second data I want is 100, third data I want is 150. So this is the order in which the data is. So it is very important. For example, if I do it like this, the order of data is like this. So you should remember that what is the order you have given. So but I want it in an incremental order, so I'm removing this file and then so it is now RT represents room temperature, and this is a dummy data which I have created. So thus it has got a lot of difference. So 100 is 100 degrees Celsius and next is 150. So this is the order in which the data will be displayed. So I'm just giving OK. So remember to change this, replace existing data into new columns. Now first data is red, second data is red, third data is red, and everything. Now you could see these are the first data, this is the second data, and this is the third data. So I said like the third column is my own data, so I'm going to delete this, which will not, you will not have it in a usual Powder XRD data. So we have 6 columns, 1 2 3 4 5 6. As I said, you know, this is room temperature. Y data intensity is room temperature. You remember we did it 100 as the second data and third data as 150. Now these are the 3 datas. Now the second step, what you have to do, we have labeled it, we have imported, we have labeled. Now this is x-axis and this is y-axis. Actually this is also x-axis. So what I have to do, I have to click this and I have to make it as x. So now this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, y2, and now this is also being in y2. So I have to change this into an x-axis, which is set as x. So now x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. So now we have got 3 sets of 3 different datas. Now I select all these datas. Then if I give a line graph, what will happen? I'm just showing it. It is superimposed on every data. So since the data are all on the same line, so it is superimposed. For example, I can zoom it up. I go here, I zoom. There are 3 different datas. The black corresponds to room temperature, red corresponds to 100 and 150. But we do not want it like this. So how do you go to original state? You go to graph, click to rescale to show all data, you get this. So this is how you go, but we do not want like this. So we want a graph, something. We want a graph, something different. So which was in the previous one, I'll show it in the later. I'm going to delete this graph. So now the data is copied. For this, you have to go to this column after the bar diagram. So in this, it says multiple, or you have got stock. So I gave stock. It is asking like this. Should I have to plot it like this? Yes, we are going to plot it like this. Going to give OK. Now you could see these are the lines. So now we have to do some things to remove it. I'm going to double click this. For me, I do not want these to happen. So I'm going to double click this and hide access. So this access is hidden. I'm going to double click this, hide access. So now you have it as a single thing. So instead of having ledges here, I'm going to create here, here, here. So now this looks different. I'm going to adjust the scale to 5 and 80. Why 5 and 80 is because if you observe the scales below, you could see that the 5 is here and 80 is here. So I do not want any gaps in between. So I'm adjusting this, click OK, apply. Now it is fill. Now I do not want this intensity graph because in Powder XRD the intensity is an relative value, which means it has an arbitrary unit. So I do not want the units to be here. So I click on this, double click on this, and then I do not want any scales. So I'm going to click on this, plus delete. Similarly, this is the second graph, click delete, and top also do not want any units. So once you get this blue diagram, you just click delete, everything disappears. So now we have a neat graph where you have a 3 comparison data, and we do not want all these inner facing lines. So I'm going to double click on this, go to tick labels, and then it shows show major. Yes. So I'm here, it shows inside. I'm going to give, so I'll just say how I did it again. So I'm going to, so you must remember this is one graph and this is the second graph and this is the third graph. So every graph is independent. That's why we have to delete it 3-4 times. So even this hutch has to be deleted. I'm going to delete it. The thing. Okay. So we will work on this legends later. So initially I'll just clear the border. So this is the one graph. So we have hidden this axis. So now what we have to do is I want a border but not these inner facing lines. So I double click on this. I go to minor ticks and labels. No, yes, not this. I'm going to tick labels. When I go to tick labels, not even this, grid lines. Yes. So title and formats. When I go to title and formats in left side, this is the left side. So in left side, it is inside. I do not want inside or outside. It is none. So I click none. Similarly, I go to minor ticks. I click none. Major ticks also none. So the larger lines are called as major ticks and smaller lines are called as minor ticks. So I'm going to apply it. You see, this is gone. Similarly, what I have to do, I have to make these things to be disappear. So I'm going to right side and then click none. You may be wondering why I have to make it such so much of beautification. This is because that your graph has to be presentable and there shouldn't be too much of lines inside that to confuse the viewers, and what you wanted to say has to be conveyed in a very precise manner. So because of that we are doing it. I'm just going to click OK. In this box everything is clear, so I'm happy. Going to just click OK. Coming here, so we have tick labels, title and formats, and then similarly left side and right side. So left side I'm going to make it none, major tricks, minor tricks to be none, apply. Similarly on the right side I'm going to make it none. Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to this line and then title and formats. Similarly it is none and it is also none. So the major ticks are none, minor is also none. I'm going to apply. You could see it's gone on the left side, and on the right side similar thing I have to do. Okay. And for this graph we have got a upper also, which is top. So top I have to make it. So previously it is in. Since it is in, it is inside. Suppose if you want to customize and make these lines go out, you can apply. You see the major ticks are out, minor ticks are in. If you want even the minor ticks are out, you can just make it something. So these are the customizable points. So you want it in both ways, multiple, in an inside and outside. So it is inside and outside. It is in between. So it is on the axis. So we can make it only the minor ticks are on the axis and major ticks are above. So these are the small things which you can customize according to the own user wishes. So now the graph is very clear. Now I could see that in second and third graph, this is the first graph, second and third, I could see the starting point is not 5, it is 10. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to come here, double click on the axis. Instead of 5, I'm going to give 10 and then click apply. Okay, so now this is beautiful. Now I wanted to change the color of the graphs, or so what I'm going to do, the first thing is black and the second thing is not, I do not want black color because I just wanted to make it a little different. I'm going to double click on this and then I'm changing this color into, let's say, like navy blue. Click OK. So this has become a blue color. Either I can close this, or I can just move to the third layer. So this is the third layer, and it displays the color. So what some people do is they just after creating this, they just click OK and go off, then go double click on this. Instead of that, every data is here. So the first layer is this one, the second layer is the middle layer, and third layer is, for example, for the first layer, if I have to change the thickness, I'm going to make it 2. I just click apply, it changes. If I have to make it 5, let's say, and just to show the changes, you could see this is 5. So it changes immediately. You do not need to close every time. So for the uniformity, we will keep 3 for everything. Let's see how big it, if we keep 3. 3 is little visible, the peaks are visible, or even we can keep it 2. So depending on your peak or depending on your data, you can modify this width. Even if you do not want it to be whole number, if you want it 2.25, it is also possible. You just click here and then type your value. If I want it like 2.56, I can just keep it, or 2.5, whatever values. So it becomes like this. So for everything, I'll keep it uniform as 3, that it is easy for us to compare. I'm going to click on 3. Okay, it is black in color. Second is violet in color, and this is also 3. Going to apply. Good. Third data is 3 width, and then it is black in color. I will make this individual color into purple. Let's say we'll make it violet. Let's see if it is a difference. It is rest, so we will get to be a little. Yes, I think it gives a different view. So the color has impact on your data, so it will show out what you actually wanted to convey. There is a different technique called as how to choose color with a color wheel, or it is also called as color mapping. So this is a different concept which I will definitely cover in a future video, which is very, very useful for the researchers to plot the graph or how to display it. This is called as color mapping. For now, we will make it as green. We'll OK and just see. So these are the 3 different colors. And then let's say like we will make this description of each data later. I'll see how to. So this is the plain graph. So we have got all these. I want this is to be a little more brighter. So I click on this. Once the blue boxes appear, I click bold. I increase it to 22. Yes, it is good. And the axis is 2 theta. And I have to insert a symbol. So somebody write THEATA. So this is not. So we have to import the theta symbol. So I click here. I right click. There is something called as Control M, which is for symbol map. So you should remember these shortcuts for your origin so that it is easy to do it. So instead of clicking right click and go, you just click Control M. The symbol map will be shown. From that, you have to choose the theta symbol. The theta symbol lies here to theta. So this is the 2 theta value. This in degree. So I'm going to press Control M. This is a small, which is shortcut, and this is degree symbol. I'm going to insert it, close bracket, 2 theta in degree. For this also I have to increase the font, maybe like 26, and double click on this, select all. You can give it a bold, so it is a little more bolder if you wish to increase the size. Then also select all 20 for the better visibility. We have this data now. So now everything is done. So now when I see this data, this is my data. So I could see that the first peak, which is around 25 to 30, which is around 27, disappears in the rest of the thing. So this is one significant. The second thing which I could look as these 2 pair of peaks, which remain same at these 3 peaks. I'll say what is the modification on later on. So then these 3 set of peaks, we have a peak here, seems to be same, But if you compare the intensity of these two peaks, the first peak and this peak and this peak and this peak, so we could see that the peak around 65 and 62 is increasing. So these are the three data to be highlighted. One, disappearance of this peak, and second, the difference of this peak. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a box. Say text no. I'm going to draw a box. Yes. I have to now customize this. What I'm going to do, the width of this box is going to be uh, the color fill. This is the color fill. But if I give none, it is going to be none inside. Color should be little of fill, so I give black. And do I want a solid line or a dashed line? For example, this is how the dashed line looks. And if I select the box and if I give a solid line, this is how the solid line looks. So I personally prefer a dashed line so that people see it. What is the data? If I give a solid line, some data are this thing. So it here, I pull it all the way down so that now I'm highlighting that this peak, I'm going to press C, P, this data, this is copied here, this is like this. So now I have highlighted that this and this are changed. So I think that the color contrast is it's not enough. I'm going to double click on this, or you can need not double click, click here, select, let's put it on red. Yes, I could see a different. I want this to be a little more thicker. So where do I go? I go here, put it on 5, it is a little more thicker, but it is too much. So similarly, I'm going to change the color of this to put it on 4. I'm going to put it on red. So now I could say that these peaks are the which I'm going to highlight on this data. And similarly, this data. So what I'll do, I'll take a round now. So I'm going to click on this blue dot, take a circle, and put a round. So we would say that this has disappeared. Similarly, I'm going to make it out of 4. The color, let it be, let's say like pink or orange. And then I do not want anything to be filled inside so that it is transparent. We're going to talk about this. So now I have highlighted this. Now is the legends. So we have to go here, or for creating what description of each peaks, I'm going to graph. Either you can give update or you can create a new. When you create a new, it comes here. I'm going to, what I do now, update. So now you see for each graph, each has come. RT is below, 100 is in the middle, and 150. I hope everyone follows how did I do it. First I created one, then I updated the rest. Then move it. Select this, get into book, fill size to 24, hit book, increase. Now our graph is completely ready. We just have to put intensity here. I'm going to put the text box, click here, right? in and intensity has no units, it is arbitrary unit, so a dot. Please put this arbitrary units or AU or A dot U dot or something like this, so that it is actually convenient for the people to know that it doesn't have a unit and you have just compared it. I'm going to see what is the font we have used it here. We have used 28, so I'm going to 28, select all, Control A, 28. Now, how do we turn this? I'm going to click here, properties. In properties, how much degree I have to rotate. If you rotate 45, it will rotate just 45, but I want this to be rotated into 90 degrees, so I'm just going to give it at 90 degree. Click OK. It has rotated 90 degrees. So like Powder XRD is also knowing about things and how to play around so that your graph looks really beautiful on this. I think this is what the previous one I promised. I have reproduced the same graph here. So I've started it from the scratch and I have reproduced the same graph. I think, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, just like it, or if you have any doubts or if you want any specific graph, you can always put it on the comment section so that we'll respond to you. We will help you out. You can also just email us. It is also it is all available. Kindly share and subscribe so that it is useful for many. Thank you so much for watching.